welcome to another brand new episode here on Britain's Farm. As you can see from the last episode, we're still carrying on with drilling the peas, and hopefully we will get this done today, unless something utterly catastrophic goes wrong in the next few hours that it will take me to do it. We're going to get the peas drilled, and then we're going to get the 2 fields that we've drilled now rolled, and then we'll go off and see what else needs to be done. I have to confess, I've just loaded it in this morning and gone. I haven't. Normally, what I do is I load it in and then kind of like go off, see what needs to be done, so I sort of know what's coming. So we're going to have to improvise and fly off the hip today, but that's all good fun, right? So it's a bit of a mystery tour today. Like I say, we've got this job to do, and then we've got the 2 fields to roll, and then once they're rolled, as I say, we can then go off, because I don't think I might be wrong. I mean, they are a small set of rolls, so it might take a little while, but I don't think it's going to take up the allotted time of the episode. So we'll see what comes of the rest of it. I know we've got some work at Richards to do. We've got some drilling and some ploughing and things down there to do, so we might go and have a look down there. As I say, we've got one more field to do as well here on Britain's Farm, but we're in April, so yeah, we kind of need to really be getting on with that really, but we'll see what comes. So I hope you're all doing very well. I am recording this Saturday morning, and so far I'm not having too bad a day, but I say hopefully you're having a great day. If the schedule goes as planned, this will go out Monday, so as I say, hopefully you're okay. It was going to be another talky episode, but I've been a bit, I don't know, just a bit off colour the last few days. Well, probably the last week. Something happened on Monday. I'm not going to go into detail just because it's not very pleasant, but something happened on Monday and it's kind of shook me up for the rest of the week, really. And it's sort of, impacted and is still impacting today, and it's nearly a week later now. But yeah, as I say, something happened, and I know when someone says that, you're thinking, well, God, you're gonna have to tell us now, aren't you? But it really isn't pleasant, and trust me when I say you really don't want to know. But as I say, it's I'm one of these people that kind of, I guess because of my history and everything, and what can I say? Things affect me more than they should. Well, we stopped. Yeah, things affect me more than what they should do, and the problem is that effect can last, anywhere from a few days to a few months to, something that happened a few years ago, which, it affected me for nearly 20 years. And that's why I recommend, if you are having, issues and you are having troubles and what have you, to go and talk to someone. I know it sort of doesn't seem like probably, it's going to make any difference, but it does. For 20 some odd years, I'd kind of kept it all to myself. And then I had I don't know. I think it's a bit of a stretch to call it a chance encounter. Right, so briefly the story goes. My heart had kind of gone wrong. I had to go into hospital, and as I say, I have to go to London, and anxieties at that time of my life were really bad, You know, I couldn't really go out. I couldn't eat when I was away from the house. I couldn't eat, couldn't drink. I was terrified of being sick. I was terrified of having an upset tummy. I was terrified of something really bad happening. And I just, you know, literally couldn't do anything. But every time I had to go to hospital, I had to go all the way to blooming London, which was okay because usually for a checkup, I'm there in the day, don't have nothing to eat all day, don't have nothing to drink all day. My body was more than used to that, was more than able to cope with that. I'd get home and it's done it again. I don't know why it's doing that. I really don't know why it's doing that. It should just flip over. It like I don't know. I don't understand why it doesn't. But anyway, yeah. So as I say, my body was more than, you know, sort of capable of that. When I got home, you know, I would eat and I would drink and make sure that you know, I'd sort of made up for you know, what I'd sort of missed and lost in the day. But anyway, this time I had to go into hospital, and the plan was my birthday. So my appointment was, I'd been in for a checkup, and they'd noticed that something was wrong. And because I'm the way I am, and an idiot, basically, what they had noticed was wrong. I'd been having the symptoms for a long time. I was working on the farm at this point, and yeah, I'd been having the symptoms for a very long time. And of course, you know, I've then gone for a checkup, and they've sort of gone, you know, well, you know, this is happening. And it's like, yeah, I know. And they're then kind of like, well, you know, why haven't you told us, you know? And I'm like, you know, well, because I was scared that it, you know, was something major. Anyway, as it happened, it wasn't it was major, because they did say that if I hadn't have got it treated, that eventually it would have ended up causing me to either have a massive stroke or heart attack or whatever. He said, like, you know, you really do need to keep telling us of, you know, things that are going on, because, you know, we can prevent anything sort of far worse happening. You know, they said, like, you know, how long has it been going on for? And of course, they weren't really that impressed when I said about 2.5 years. So my body had sort of coped well. I'm just doing this roughly round here. I'm not doing it neatly. You don't need to do it neatly. Anyway, goes into hospital, has the operation. Before and after the operation, because of my nerves and my anxiety, and the hospital are absolutely bloody brilliant because they know all about it. What they do is they try their hardest and damnedest to make sure that you know, as sort of comfortable as I can be, and that everything is, you know, sort of as good as it can be as well. I've not done this very well, actually. You wouldn't normally do this when drilling, but I'm going to do it like this because I've not done this very well. I've done that quite poorly, actually. And that's not really because I'm talking, that's just because my mind is kind of everywhere at the moment. I'm finding it really hard to focus on things, get motivated for things. I mean, it's like this morning, I just well, I couldn't be bothered to get out of bed, didn't want to get out of bed. And that's not like me, you know. Normally I'm, you know, up at 6, sometimes earlier, you know, if I'm struggling to sleep, and, you know, and sometimes recording sort of by, you know, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and getting on with my day and sort of enjoying it, you know. But anyway, so you know, I'm in hospital, and they're sort of looking after me, and you know, doing their utmost. And I used to get my own private room in the hospital. My own, as I say, it was like a private room, and the, you know, the surgeon and, you know, the top people there used to really go out of their way to make sure that I was comfortable. They knew I wouldn't eat anything. After an operation, after a few hours, they require you to eat something. and you know they always give me the choice of what it is, and you know, they sort of stay around to make sure everything's okay. And this had sort of been happening, and these people had been making a fuss and what have you, and I'd had I'm not. The thing was, this wasn't supposed to be a chatty episode. This was supposed to be an episode where we get on with stuff, but I'm only kind of giving you half the story, because the actual kind of way that me and this nurse end up talking as frankly with each other as what we do is because of what happened earlier in the day. So I've come back from the operation. As I say, I've got this tremendous anxiety, phobia, fear of you know, sort of being sick, and there's an Irish nurse, even though a male nurse, and on my thingy, on my chart, it's got, you know, when come back from theatre, to be given you know, sort of anti-sickness tablets for one every, I can't remember, it was one every half an hour or one every hour, for 3 hours, and the surgeon explained that will, you know, virtually guarantee you as much as I can that you'll be fine. And this sort of and you know, it's on the chart. You know, I've got a phobia, and that's the reason why. And this male nurse from Ireland comes over, spiky hair, you know, kind of white hair, you know, and you know, you just get a feeling for someone instant. Well, I do. And I'm sure everyone does. I'm sure, you know, because I'm sure it's instinct. But you just get this feeling about someone, and I knew me and him weren't going to get on. And he looking at my chart, and he goes, "How do you feel?" And I said, you know, groggy. You know, I've just been in theatre for 9.5 hours. You know, I was I was awake, but I wasn't feeling my best. And anyway, so he goes, says here that he goes, but you don't need any of that. He said, you're a man, you know. He said, you'll have to toughen up a bit. And I said, no, I need them, you know. I said, because otherwise it's going to trigger my anxieties. It's going to trigger my, you know. And he's, no. Anyway, doesn't give me them. And of course I end up doing what I was, you know, sort of in fear of doing. And my surgeon Vivian has come down, and I'm a bit upset, and she's been called because my heart rate's all over the place. And she comes down and she says to me, you know, what's the matter? And so I told her what happened, and she went, well, that's absolutely disgusting, and there will be repercussions for this, but you do need to calm down, because otherwise you're gonna, you know, your heart needs to rest, because it's been battered and interfered with, you know, for the last 9 hours by me. It needs to rest, and you need to calm down. You need to bring your blood pressure down. You need, you know. So anyway, eventually, I was given a little drug that did help me to sort of kind of calm down. And this few hours later, this nurse comes in and she says, Vivian wanted me to pass on a message to you. So I said, okay. So she said, the Irish guy. So I said, yeah. She said, he's been suspended for not following a patient's chart, and she said, whilst it wasn't life-threatening, you know, it could be, and he's not in a position to be making those choices. You know, he needs to be following sort of orders, if you like. So I was like, okay, fair enough. So she said, like, he's been suspended. So she said, can I ask you something? And I was like, yeah. She goes, why does everyone in here, she said, like, treat you like some sort of celebrity? You know, how you get your own room, you know, you get your own nurses, you get your own, like, she said, like, everyone else here has to kind of just go with what is. She said, but you don't. So she said, I know you have anxiety problems, but she said, like, I you know, are you famous, or are you, you know, something that I should, you know, sort of probably be aware of? And I said, no. I said, I'm just someone with, really high anxieties and what have you. And Vivian knows that if those anxieties aren't sort of adhered to, then, I wouldn't come into hospital, and that would be, sort of really bad. So there's a compromise between me and Vivian and Fiona and a few other people that I'll come into hospital, but I kind of need, because of my fear and anxieties, I need, things to be a certain way in order for me to kind of feel okay, because I've also got this sort of germ bacteria thing as well. I wash my hands, a million times a day, and it's not good, and it's not a nice way to live, and it really isn't a nice way to live. And I said, like, that's the reason why. So she said, well, look, I finish at 10, which was 10 in the evening. So I said, yeah. She said, after work, can I come and sit in here with you and talk to you? So I said, if you want to, which I thought was a bit odd. No one's ever done that before. And I said, like, why? She goes, I think you're a really interesting person and I'd love to talk to you. And she said, and I'd like to find out more. So I was like, okay, I'm not an interesting person. I'm just an idiot, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got these sort of stupid, childish, pathetic fears and phobias and behaviours, and I have to be pampered to like a baby because, I'm not sort of big enough to deal with life in general, And anyway, she came in and we started talking, and at first she was sort of asking questions, and then she started, sort of talking about herself and sort of, telling me, as much intimate detail about herself as what I was telling her and what have you. And we sat there for hours. I mean, I didn't want to sleep. I'd been asleep for 9 hours through the day, I wasn't tired. I was a lot more chilled out and relaxed. And, as I say, we sort of talked for, a good 2 or 3 hours and what have you. And then, at some point in the conversation, she brings up this bloke that she'd been seeing, she'd been talking to. And she says, I'll give you his number and his email address. Get in touch with him. I think he could help you. So I'm a bit kind of skeptical, and I kind of sort of think, oh no, I sort of tell her, yeah, I'll do it, yeah, definitely, like, oh, it'd be such a relief, I say the right things at the right time. That's my trouble. And I sort of come away anyway. The next day I was that was the Friday, so on the Saturday I was allowed to go home. Vivian came in, heart rate was good, everything was sort of as she wanted it. She'd go home. She had no driving for a few days. Rest, chill out. She said, funnily enough, she said the snooker's on for the next fortnight, so you can sit in front of the TV for the next fortnight. She goes, and that's a doctor's orders. That is, I'm ordering you to sit and binge watch snooker for 2 weeks. And she was sort of laughing and joking and what have you. And so, and she said, but you can go home. She said, I don't want you here because you don't, you're not happy here. And I don't want you here because I want you to be happy and I want you to be settled. As long as you go home, she said, and Emma looks after you, and you do as you're told. She said, then I'm okay with that. So I was like, okay, fair enough. And anyway, I went home. Well, a few weeks later, I'm sat in, at my computer, and Emma comes in and she sits down, and she's been a bit off for a few days, and I'd sort of said to her, I said, because I kept asking her, and Emma wasn't a big talker, or I kind of get the feeling now, having seen her with her new partner, that actually she might not have been a big talker to me for whatever reason. But I don't know, that might just be, again, me seeing it through negative rose tinted glasses, do you know what I mean? But that's the impression that I get anyway. But anyway, so I kind of, I sit her down, I come away from my computer and I sit her down and I says, look, we need to talk. Something's wrong. Something's bothering you, and I would like to know what it is because I would like to try and help you with that if I can. And she sat down, and anyway, she sort of sat there, and then the tears started coming. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, she's going to break up with me. Like, I can't believe it. Like, she's my life. I mean, and even today, I mean, we've been parted now for God knows how long, since 2018. And even today, like, I miss her every day, and I think about her, all day. Well, not all day, but I think about her a lot through the day. There's songs that come on, and it reminds me of her. There's, sort of like, lots, and she's kind of sitting there, and she's upset, and I'm like, inwardly, I'm like, oh, my life's over, because it was Emma, when we got together when we were in our late teens, that really got me through my late teens and then into my 20s. She saw me through a lot of dark times and really dark places that I was going, and as I said, she was my life. And I'm an idiot because I don't, I couldn't express that to her, and I couldn't sort of tell her. And here I am sitting there now thinking, oh my God, she's had enough and she's breaking up with me. Anyway, eventually, after a long while, and I sort of took hold of her hand and I gave her a cuddle and I said, it's okay, just talk to me, we can get through it, we can work through it, whatever it is, we can work through it, we can sort it out. And she looked at me and she just, I don't know, she's just looking at me, and I went, do you want to break up with me? And then she went, oh my God, no, not at all. Which I was like, I don't really care what it is now. That's all I wanted to hear. I'm fine now. Whatever it is, brilliant. We'll sort it. And I said, well, what is it then? I said, because I said, I'm sure it's not that bad. I said, I'm sure you're making it in your mind 50,000 times worse than what it actually is. And she went, oh, okay then. She goes, I'll just come out and say it then, shall I? So I said, yeah. I said, just come out and say it, and we'll deal with it from there. She went, all right, I'm pregnant. And I was of everything that I expected to say in that moment, that was not it. And I went, you what? She went, I knew you'd be mad. And I was like, I'm not mad. I said, because I got a feeling I might have had a hand in that somewhere. I said, I am shocked. And she said, well, I know. She said, but, with the things that have been happening the last sort of few months, it's not a huge shock. So I said, well, it kind of is. I said, because, we've been together, I think we've been together like 8-9 years, and I said, I said, all right, we hadn't really been trying, but we weren't not trying, if you know what I mean. So I said, after 9 years, it's a bit of or 8 years or whatever it was, I said, it's a bit of a shock. And then she was like, she goes, I know you're mad with me. And I said, I'm not mad with you, not at all. I said, I said, actually, I'm really excited. I said, but I said, 10 minutes ago, I thought you were breaking up with me. And she was like, she goes, I thought that's what you would think. And I said, well, yeah, of course that's what I was thinking. I said, I sort of love you, want to be with you, so that one day I want us to get married and everything. And, I said, and Jesus, I said, no. Anyway, I was really delighted. But on that news, I thought maybe I should give that guy a call. Actually, I'm about to have a family, and one thing I don't want to do is to pass on to my child my fears, phobias, anxieties, and all of that. I thought maybe I need to get in touch with this bloke. Maybe I need to actually at least try and get some help, and what have you. And I'd tried in the past. Between myself and Emma, we'd sort of been in touch with various groups and people, and sort of psychiatrists and therapists and everything, and nothing had worked. So I was very dubious about it, but at the same time, I felt it was the right thing to do at the right time. And so I emailed him, and I don't know, about a week later, didn't tell Emma. I didn't say anything to Emma. I wanted it to be a surprise. I thought, if I can be helped, if he can help, if he can make a difference, I want it to be a surprise. Because the one thing I'd always wanted to do for Emma was to take her out for a meal. That was the one thing in like all the years we'd been together. The one thing I really wanted to do was take her out for a meal, take her out and give her what would be considered a normal night out between boyfriend and girlfriend or fiance, because we were engaged at that point. And that was my sort of long-standing dream and ambition. That was what sort of was motivating me, if you like, as well as I was having a child, but and so I got in touch anyway. A few days later, or a week or two later, I can't remember what the time frame is, but he gets in touch with me and he says, I'm sorry, I can't really help. I'm sort of too busy, what have you. And he says, like, get in touch with your local mental health, sort of organisation, and yes, there'll be a long waiting list, but they should be able to help you, And I was like, well, I've done all that before, and they don't help. So I thought, it's just one of those things, and I'm gonna be, sort of like it, forever, sort of thing, like. And anyway, another few weeks have passed. He gets in touch, and he says to me, he says, I will help. He said someone that I was gonna help has kind of sort of withdrawn, doesn't want it no more. And he said, for some reason I can't get you out of my head. He said, I'd like to help. Now he is from, I think I'm right in saying he's from like the Leeds area. And he says, I also have a woman that helps me. She sort of works with me. She doesn't work for me, but she works with me, and she works on fears and phobias. I work on changing your mindset and changing the way that you think. And he said, I need you to get in touch with her. I need you to, and the one thing he said that I do need you to do, he said, because if for a second I think that you're not committed, that you're not actually trying, then, he said, that will be it. I will withdraw the help, and you won't, and that's it. You've lost your chance. And that was in 2016 when 2015 when I started that. My son was born in 2016. 2017, I was still doing it. I was still doing it on the quiet. I hadn't told Emma anything because, as I say, I had a few things that I really wanted to do. I wanted to take her out for a meal. I wanted to get married to her. And the reason I weren't marrying her, and I kept saying, "Oh, we can't afford it. We can't afford it." But the reason I didn't want to get married was because I knew that, that would involve food, that would involve a lot of people, that would involve a crowd, that would involve all of these things that really really set my anxieties off, and I just couldn't face it, but I didn't have the heart to tell her, because I was afraid that she would sort of break up and leave me for it, so I'm kind of sort of stuck in this hard place, and yes, she knew some of it, and she knew about my fears and my phobias of being poorly and different things like that, and the germ things. I was always washing my hands and what have you, and she kind of always lived with it, but deep down I kind of almost sort of thought it wasn't something that she liked necessarily. She was kind of like going through it because in some ways she felt like she had to. It was almost like she committed to be my girlfriend, and I mean, she knew all of this fairly early on. Sort of within the first date, she kind of began to get an inkling, because of I had panic attacks on the first date. I had loads of different things going on, and so I think she had an inkling. I saw, I'm fairly certain there were a few clues there. But she never sort of wavered from it, and she started asking questions, and sort of trying to sort of find out what was happening, why I was the way I was, and different things, and you know, and she's like, you know, I want to help. I want to help because, you know, I think actually you could be really brilliant. And so I'd been working with this guy, and the woman that she was from, oh dear me, Whitby, and she helped a lot, although her methods were not something that I was used to. So there's a bit of a funny, this is turning into a chatty video now, I'm sorry. So there was a bit of an incident, right? So you know, Alan's agreed to help. Jasmine as her name is, has agreed to help. And I've been talking with Alan and different things, and sort of working with Jasmine. It was all over the phone. Oops, sorry, mate. It was all over the phone, and you know, I never met these people or whatever. Anyway, at the end of the second year, so I started in 2015. At the end of 2016, my son was born. He was born in January, so at the beginning of the year. And my girlfriend was back at work. Emma was back at work. What I'm going to do is actually I'm going to drop the drill off. Oh, I was going to say, why won't my camera turn? I've got one of these weird mouses that if it's not used for a few seconds, it goes into standby mode, and then you end up having to click the button to wake it up again, and then that causes issues with a lot of other things. Anyway, so as I say, we get to the end of 2000. So I'd been working and working and working, but I still couldn't go out. I just could not break that. You know, I just could not do anything sociably. You know, I just could not break that spell in my head, or that, you know, thing that was holding me. And she said to me, she said, I want to come down. So I said, right. She said, I'm going to come and visit you. So I said, well, you know, like, and because like I say, you know, I hadn't told Emma a thing. And she said, I'm going to take you out for the day. So I said, no, you know, I can't. She goes, no. She said, like, there's no about it. She said, if there's a no, she said, then I'm off and I'm not helping. You know, she said, like, you know, I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm not asking you. And so you know, I was kind of like, you know, oh my God, you know. And I wanted the help. That was the thing. I wanted the help. Can you see the rolls? I can't see the rolls. Probably that's the disc arrows. I thought that was the rolls. They're probably upon that other pad bit. I've got to get everything moved down here. Yeah, so I she comes down and she says to me, where would you like to go Christmas shopping? She said, we'll go and buy something nice for Emma because she puts up with you and she needs a bloody medal, you know, but we'll buy her something nice for Christmas. And so I said, oh, you know, go to King's Lynn then. I said, like, that's like sort of the only place really that I sort of, you know that you know you can sort of do Christmas shopping with. There's the rolls. Oh, it's on the little tractor anyway. Oh, well, we'll use the little tractor. It'd be something different. So I said, like, you know, I said, oh, bloody mouse. Excuse my French. So I said, we go to King's Lynn. Anyway, we're in King's Lynn and we're going around Christmas shopping. You know, we're sort of, and I'm like, I am a wreck. Like, you know, there's lots of people coughing, there's lots of people spluttering, there's lots of, you know, I am a wreck. And she says to me, she says, we're going to go and have some lunch because I'm hungry. And I said, well, I'll sit with you. I said, but she said, no. She said, you don't understand. We're going to have some lunch. She said, it's my treat. She said, like, I don't expect you to buy me lunch. It's my treat. I'll buy you lunch. And I was like, no. And she's like, James, you know, I'm not arguing. She said, I'm telling you what we're doing. She said, like, if you refuse, I go. You know, the choice is yours. How badly do you want to get yourself better? And this is all I was ever told from both of them. Boy, did it work, because it was kind of like, yeah, well, I really do, you know. But at the same time, why aren't they unfolding? keyboard's working. Ah, here we go. Normally that's instant, but I don't know. Anyway, so in the end I agree to have a sandwich and a drink. So while I'm sort of, sitting at the table in the restaurant, and well, it's like a sort of cafe type restaurant, and she comes back, and I says, look, I gotta go, and she comes back with the drinks, and she said, like, the food will be here in a little while. I said, okay. I said, look, I've got to go to the toilet because I need to wash my hands. She said, yeah, absolutely fine. She said, now my keyboard's gone bloody funny. Honestly, if I could just have a computer setup that works, I could do some really fantastic videos. Sometimes my S key, my A key locks, and then I end up turning into things, and people go, "What's he doing? Oh, he's a bit rubbish, isn't he?" It's because my key locks, and then I have to sort of try and dump it to get it back to unlock again. I have ordered new mouse, new keyboard. I've ordered quite a lot of new stuff to try and again improve my videos and stuff. But anyway, so I goes off to the toilet, washes my hands. When I come back, I'm sitting down. My food has arrived, and I'm eating my food, and then this old lady comes over, or oldish lady comes over, and she says, "Excuse me, love." So I said, "Yeah." She said, "Who's this lady to you?" So I said, "Just my friend." So she said, "Okay." So I said, "Why?" She said, "Because she's put something in your tea, darling." And I'm kind of like, I went, and I looked at Jasmine and I said, "Have you?" She went, "No." So the woman says, "Yes, you did." She said, "You got a sachet and you put something in his tea." And Jasmine goes, "Yeah, it was milk." So she said, "No, it wasn't." She said it was like a sauce sachet. So she was like, she goes, "Well, it was milk." So she said to me, she says, "Smell your tea." So I smelt it. So like, I sort of sniffed it. She was like, "Now just try it." She said just a little tiny bit. She said, like, "I promise you I haven't put anything in there, but just try it." So I was like, okay. So I tried it, and it tasted normal. It tasted how I expected it to taste. And so I was like, okay, not fair enough. So anyway, this woman says, "Well, I'm telling you, sweetheart, she did, and I wouldn't drink it." And Jasmine's like, kind of, are you going to believe me, or, and I'm really torn now because I'm terrified of being poisoned. Right, this is another one of my phobias, right? And so now, someone's telling me that she's put something in my tea, right? So anyway, I drinks the tea, right? Not at that precise moment, but as we sit there and she convinces me that nothing has gone in the tea, in order for her to sort of be able to do her job, I need to trust her a little bit. And I know that, and so therefore I then decide to drink the tea. Anyway, I drink the tea, I've had my sandwich, we go. We're walking through King's Lynn, and I start to feel unwell. And I said to her, I don't feel very well. She said, "How do you feel?" So I said, "Well, I got really, sort of really bad stomach cramps and different things." I said, "I feel quite sick as well." So she said, okay. She said, "Do you want to sit down for a bit?" So I said, yeah, I'd like to. So we sat on a bench, and anyway, we're sitting there. Well, this old woman has followed us, and I'm sitting on the bench, and she's come over, and she says, "Are you alright, sweetheart?" And so I said, "No, I'm not feeling very well." She said, "I told you she put something in your tea." She said, "How, and she starts having a go at Jasmine. And anyway, I'm very poorly. Within a few minutes, I'm very poorly. And I'm crying, I'm panicking, I'm basically turned into a headless chicken. My worst fears are now happening in the middle of King's Lynn. and all these people are looking at me because, like I say, I'm crying. I'm a 32-year-old man, maybe 33-year-old man, and I'm a 31-year-old man, and because my little boy is 8, and I'm now in pieces, and I'm, I've gone. Basically, like I say, I'm crying, I'm running around, I'm, being, as I say, really poorly both ways, and this is horrendous. And eventually, Jasmine kind of gets hold of me. Well, the woman's now phoned the police. The older woman has now phoned the police. Someone else has phoned an ambulance. and I can laugh about it now. But at the time, boy, was I not impressed. And I'm thinking I'm going to die, because like I say, I was, sort of being quite poorly. And Jasmine sits me down. She's got her arms around me, and she's telling me, Mia, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. I did put something in your tea, all right, but it's nothing terrible. It's nothing bad. It's it's fine. You're fine. You're absolutely okay. She said, in a few minutes, you're going to feel back to normal. She said, like what I've used, it lasts for about, sort of 10-15 minutes, and then it goes. It's gone, and you'll be fine. And because anyway, the police arrive, and she goes off with the policewoman, and she's explaining, and the paramedics have arrived, and they've done sort of stats. They've taken blood. They've done this, that, and everything. It's a heart rate and everything, and sure enough, like Jasmine had said, I felt okay. I suddenly went from feeling like I was dying to suddenly feeling okay and back to normal again. And I'm sort of sitting there. So Jasmine comes back over, and she says, "Do you feel okay now?" And I said, "Yeah, I feel like nothing's happened." And she said, "Exactly." She said, "Like, I need you to take this." So I was like, "Why?" She said, "Because I need you to take it." She said, "Like, just take it." So I'm thinking, well, she's doing this in front of police and paramedic and everyone else. I think it can't be too bad. So the paramedic has kind of like looked at it and sort of gone, well, yeah, it's not a bad idea to take that. I can't remember what the drug is, so I'm going to have to just say take that, because I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what it was that she gave me. But I have looked it up online, and it's not used for that purpose, but it is used for it's something that hospitals and doctors and different things do use. So it wasn't nothing terrible, and it does say there's no side effects to it. There's no sort of harm to it. There's no nothing like that. I'm going to do three times around with these rolls, just because this turning circle on this tractor is not very good. And we're in the car, we're going home, and Emma's sort of kind of ringing me, I'm finished work, because I had to go and pick her up, and I'd sort of, and Jasmine's like, look, you've taken that, you're going to be fine, and I'm like, yeah, I said, but I really wasn't, like, and she's like, you're going to be fine. And in the car on the way home, she's telling me why she's done it. And she said, like, the thing that I needed to remember is that she had a few months ago, she had, when I said to you, what are you afraid of? She said, everything that you said happened. So I said, I know. So she said, but you're still alive. You're still here. You're perfectly okay. She said, yes, you've got a new, completely new wardrobe. She said, because it was required. She said, but what is there to fear? You've been through the worst fear that you have, and you're sat here talking to me, and apart from the unpleasant what happened, which she said everyone wouldn't like, she said, not just you're not unique, she said, it's not special to you, we would all feel the way that you felt. She said, but you're here, and nothing really terrible happened. And I said, well, it did. I was poorly. She goes, yeah, but all of the things that you said didn't happen. She had, yes, you had you had the physical symptoms, but she said, like, the things that you said that would happen afterwards haven't happened. She said, you're fine. You're okay. And at the time, that didn't really mean anything or register, but over time, the more and more I kept thinking about it, and she kept sort of repeating that every time I spoke to her, it began to kind of set in my brain and sort of develop roots where it kind of sort of, I don't know, it was like gripped my brain, and suddenly it was kind of like, yeah, actually she has a point. And I still do fear it today, but the fear now doesn't stop me going out, because I already know how it will feel. I already know what will happen, and I'm kind of okay with that. And like, well, not okay with it, but I've got a balance now where I can live with that and say, well, the chances are, extremely unlikely. I don't let anybody buy me drinks now, by the way. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so that's why I say, like, if you are, sort of struggling, suffering, or whatever, with whatever, talk to someone, because one day you'll talk to the right person, and in my case, it was the right two people, and you begin to realise how those worries, those thoughts, those fears don't need to control you or your life. That you can sort of move on from it. You there is a life thereafter, and the life that I have now, I know I'm feeling a bit low and down, as I say, because of Monday's events, but hopefully that will last a little while, and then I'll sort of bounce back and be back to sort of old jolly self. And yeah, so as I say, just talk to someone, please. I can't express that enough to anyone. Oh, hang on a minute, because I'm going 4 times around now, and I want to be the other side, so I'm going to lift the rolls up. You wouldn't normally do this again, but it's because I'm yattering away, and yeah, I've not been concentrating there. So now what I want to do is I want to go down here and work that other way, because when I get that other way, I want to then go into the other field, and I want to finish that end, but it's now finding the line of where I've already rolled. You're all screaming at the TV now. I think there it is. I think I can see it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm now going to follow these tram lines, which I believe are tram lines, and then I'm going to go back on myself, and then I should have a straight line. It's complicated, but it works for me. So yeah, as I say, between the two of them, they've got me to a point where, like Thursday, I went out by myself, and I go out I have to go out now by myself because I don't have anyone to go out with, and yeah, I can do that, whereas, back in sort of 2000 and sort of any pre-2015, I couldn't do that, I just wouldn't have been able to have done. Oh, I've lost the bloody mark again. This isn't going well. It's very difficult to see the line. Right, we'll do it from there. We should be okay now. What I should have done was I should have gone across it the other way, and then that way it would have made 2 lines running 2 separate ways, and I know then that the lines running the opposite way to the lines that are running now, the lines that I need to be following. But there we go. I'm not that intelligent, clearly, so So we'll have to do it the find and see way if we can. But right, I am going to switch over to a little bit of time lapse, just so that we do actually do more than what we've just done, because these Britain's episodes are not moving along too swiftly because I get chatting away in them. Maybe it should become my Chatty series, where I just have a chat about anything and everything, you know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Would you like that? Would you rather I didn't? You know, let me know. You know, things we can talk about. I mean, if you know, have got questions about my life, about my heart condition, about life on the farm, about anxieties, about depression, about, you know, all of the fears and phobias, about any of that, anything roughly goes apart from politics and religion. I'm not doing them just because they are the world's biggest divider, and I'm not trying to divide on this channel. I'm trying to bring together, so I'm kind of not really going to go down that route. But let me know, you know, would you like this to become the Chatty series, where, you know, we do 1 or 2 videos a week, where, or, you know, like where I just sit and do the work on Britain's farm, and while I do it, you know, for 40, 45, 50 minutes, I just chat away. Let me know, and like I say, and if that is something you want and you do have questions, ask away. You know, if it's anything about farming sim, ask away. You know, as I say, pretty much anything apart from religion and politics are, you know, probably you know, talk about. So but yeah, as I say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to a little bit of well, I'm not actually, because it's now 52 minutes on the video clock. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sign off from here. The next video that I put out, so I'll put out 2 Britons this week, and the next one will be a time-lapse video. But let me know in the comments for this one, and then the one after that, if you all would like that, and if that's something you're all interested in, then the one after the next one will be the one where I do it for the first. Like I say, if there's no questions or whatever, I'll just chat. As long as people say yes, you know, we would like that, then I will just chat about anything and everything. And if people sort of say no, or I don't get any comments either way, then I'll do an odd 1 or 2 where I chat. But you know, the majority will go back to being time lapse. So let me know, and like I say, we'll go from there. Thanks ever so much for listening today and watching. Sometimes it does help just to ramble a little bit, and you know, just to kind of think that maybe someone might be listening, and you know, and that's you know, a sort of reassurance to me. I'm weird, I know. And I'll see you in the next episode. So thanks ever so much for joining me. I've really enjoyed having your company, and as I say, hopefully I'll get to see you again in the next episode. Bye for now.